Hey Ed, long time no speak, dude. Um, well, I mean, I guess I need to explain what I've been doing and why I'm taking so long. I just, I just, I don't know. I just felt like I was just spitballing and coming up with ideas, and you were doing all the work. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna sit down and try and make stuff. Instead of just coming up with ideas. And trying to actually implement the stuff that I was talking about, and the way I said that I wanted it to work in Unity was fucking hard, and I'm not even nearly there yet. I mean, I think I've got the basics down, but as I'll show you, what I've got to show you is not very impressive at all. Um, but trust me, I mean, it wasn't it wasn't easy. Okay, so the first thing we got is the directory layout. Okay, so inside of editor are all the custom editors. So this is you have to put scripts inside of an editor folder if you want them to be custom editors. Um, I'm not sure if it's for everything, but I know it's definitely for inspectors. If we want to create our own menu items, if we want to create our own window, um, it's got to be inside of here. Okay, then graveyard. This was your name. What I've done is I've named these things iterations. My idea was that every single iteration was going to be, it's like iteration one was like this old guy. Remember this? And then iteration two is, I mean, was this one. And I was hoping that we could have it so that all of the stuff inside of here actually works. That you could actually open up the scene right now and just see what happens and have it actually work. Right now this is broken. Let me show you what it does. If you open it up and press play, you just I don't know what's going on. Got an exception over here. I don't see the track. I'm sorry, dude, but I broke it and I don't know how to fix it. But it would be cool if it did work, so we could just, I don't know. I don't know if we would need to go back to the code and see it working, but anyway, everything is inside of here. There's nothing in there. But this was the idea before. And then, so we'll just keep going. So the idea I was thinking of is that if we want to do a complete rewrite, from the ground up, um, then we just copy all this stuff into the next iteration and then start from scratch, which is what I've done here. Okay, prefabs. Okay, so the prefabs are how I think I want to implement the slabs. So I hope you don't okay with the word slab, but I hope you know what it means. But the slab is just like the construct for the piece of road. Okay, piece of track that gets stitched together. Scenes. Right now, I've just got this test bed, which is empty. It's just nothing in here. It's just the camera. And finally, the scripts track. I guess I shouldn't put it into track, but whatever. Chain, path, point, and then a util. Okay, that's all I've done at the moment. Okay, let me show you what it does. Okay, so we're in the scene. We want to create something, so we create an empty game object, and I call it path. Okay. Now all you got to do to make it a path is you go to component scripts path. Bam, and it's a path. Okay, so you see the script component here, and you can see that there's a button here, which is something that you can't do, as far as I'm aware, just using member variables and having the inspector auto detect it. I had to create this. Make it do this. Put this button here. And I know it looks a bit ugly, but trust me, you can do. You can do anything that Unity does. I mean, what I'm starting to see is that everything that you see here, this inspector window, the project window, the hierarchy, all these buttons, all the windows, everything, all that functionality is built using the Unity API, if you want to call it that. You know, so it's really cool actually. You know, you can do anything, you know, custom that Unity does. At least in terms of the front end. And I'll show you a couple things that I've learned. Okay, so what happens when you push this button? Well, maybe I should show you how the button works. Okay, so the button works, the way it works is that, and I'm sorry if you know this stuff already, but just in case you don't, what I did was I created this path editor to make this, so this button showed up, right? And this is what it looks like. This is the most important part, custom editor type of path. So what that is saying is that when I click on something, a game object, and it has a component of type path, I mean it's confusing now because I've named the object path, but I don't have to name the object anything. Okay, so that means that this is so that the inspector, that it knows that when I click on this thing, I want to do the editing myself in the inspector. I want to have my own editor. Sorry, it's fucking pollen season. It's fucking killing me. Okay. Okay, so next, all you got to do is extend the editor class. Now, editor class, there's editor and there's also editor window. Editor window, I think, is if you wanted to have your own window. You didn't just want to have the inspector, you know. And it's something that we might really want to do. It's like I don't know if you played with the terrain editor in Unity, but it's like a separate window that allows you to mess with it and generate things. I mean, it's totally something that we can do. Okay, next you override a function called onInspectorGUI. Right. So, and this is where you put the GUI code, that your custom GUI code. So when you override it, all the member variables and all that stuff, that all disappears. You have to do it all from scratch. You know, you can't have both. You know. Okay, so then the first thing you do is there's a target object, which is the one that you've selected. You've got to cast it to the type that you want, which is our script component, our script. Then there's all these functions, there's GUI functions, and then there's GUI layout. Now GUI layout is exactly the same as GUI, except GUI layout is just all the functions that have like automatic layout functionality. Like in Unity, you could see that they started out by having all these GUI functions that you could just call, but for every single one you had to specify a position and a size, you know, which made it really kind of shitty because you had to be specific and kind of write your own layout engine. So then they created layout. You know, you'll see that there's GUI editor, or I think it's editor GUI, and then editor GUI layout, and GUI layout. So really there's just two things. There's GUI and then there's editor GUI, and then they created a layout version of both. And the funny thing is you can use functions from all four of them at any point when you're doing GUI stuff. And you can use the same functions when you're doing the inspector GUI, when you're doing the scene GUI, when you're drawing right onto the scene, you know, for your helpers. I'll show you something about that now. Anyway, so if GUI layout.button create point, right? So it creates a button called create point with automatic layout, which in this instance just stretches it across the width, and then if someone pushes the button, this will return true, right? And now I have this util function that just says create. right? So I'll show you how that works now, but you it's just going to create, it's just, and then I pass it in the actual game object that the script is attached to. Alright, anyway, I'll show you what that util does now, but it's just a static function used to create points, to add points to this, to the game object, to a parent or to something. I'm confused. Anyway, finally you say if GUI.changed editor utility.set dirty. Now this is obviously a Unity thing, and that presumably is what you use to tell it to redraw the on-scene GUI. There's actually the GUI stuff is actually pretty complicated, and I haven't actually gotten my head around it completely. But I'm getting there. Finally, there's this guy, on-scene GUI. Now, scene GUI is if you want to customize what the scene view looks like. So if we go back to Unity, this is the scene view. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be pedantic. I don't mean to be. Anyway, this is the scene view, and if you want to draw stuff like this guy or this camera, or you want to do stuff with the select box, that's where you do it. You do it inside of on-scene GUI, right? And the funny thing is, I thought, this is where I'm going to put the code. I still haven't done this, but this is where I'm going to put the code that actually draws, a curve through our path, so we can see what it looks like. The points themselves I've actually done already. I can show you something that I've done with the points, but I'm going to put that function in here. Path.draw scene view. I think I might pull that out of the path. I don't know if I want these objects to actually know how to draw themselves. Anyway, we'll discuss it. Anyway, okay. So you click on this guy, and here's a button, create point. And what happens when I push it? Poing! Look, something happened. I don't know if you saw that, but look. Oh, look, there's a point. And if you click on it, oh, it's got its own script thingy. It's amazing. Come on, point. Zoom in. I'm working on a laptop now on this fucking thing. Anyway. That's pretty cool, huh? Why is it not zooming in? Where's the zoom button? See, now, what happens if I don't have a scroll wheel? Am I just fucked? It's got to be a way to zoom in. Anyway. Okay, check. So, all this button does is create points, and it labels them one to one. It numbers all of them. I'll talk about why that's really important later, if we get to it. But it's kind of a mission. Okay, and then all the points are just like the path. Is all a point is just a game object with a point script attached. Right? I mean, I really like that. I mean, I think it's, I don't want to toot my own chain, but I think this is a way simpler than the way we were working before. I actually don't even remember the way we were working before. Anyway, I'm just a dick. Okay, and amazingly, these buttons work. These are just shortcuts. I mean, you could just, if you really wanted to, you could just click on this guy, say game object, create empty, put him in the path, call this guy point 11, then say game object scripts point, bam, there we go, right? The only difference is that now this guy's position is the same as number 1, you see that, because I've actually automated the fact that it creates the points along a line. And obviously we can do whatever we want. That was just so we could see them. So this create point button is pretty superfluous, but it's just a helper. Same as this. The create button here does the same thing. It just keeps creating at the end. Now there's all this complicated stuff that we could have done, like put points in between where we select them. What happens when I delete a point? Well, when you delete a point, it just deletes the point and then selects the guy previously. I have no idea how hard that was to do. But yeah, And but what about the numbering? Should we fix the numbering? Blah blah blah. It's all stuff that's totally doable, and we can discuss. But yeah. Anyway, so there we go. Okay. One cool thing about what I've done is this. You can select the points and you select them here, and then you can move them with this, right? Which we could do before. But check this out. You can select multiple points, and you can actually just drag and select a point. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And it says here multi-object editing not supported, but that's just because I haven't put it in. But we can actually literally do stuff like selecting these guys and then setting them some way, right? Okay, for the points, that's not something that we're going to really need, but the other game object that I have is the chain. Okay, so this shows. Right now, these three show the approach that I want to use, or that I want to finish now. I mean, I'm still not finished, but this is my proposal, if you want to call it that. So we have these three scripts. We have chain, path, and point, right? And then chain. You click on a chain, and it has a path object that you got to point to. So this uses the standard scene editing thing, and you just click on the path. Bob's your uncle. Now this chain is attached to this path, and then what I'm going to do is have the chain have objects on it like add slab, add slab. Same with the path. So you just click, and it just creates slabs, and that follow the path. That's simple. All defaulted behavior. And it'll be and that's it. It'll be super simple. This game object itself, you can copy it, you can make it into a prefab or whatever. We can create the track as a prefab. Then the chain itself will be just like this. You'll be able to actually select parts of the slab. You'll be able to select parts of the chain. Why is it not letting me select things now? Why you hate me? That's weird. Is it me? I don't know why it's not working. Anyway, but you get my point. So you'll be able to select a section of the track, and then you'll have like this editor window that can give you all these options. Like maybe you want to slide it up and down. Maybe you want to change the properties on all of them. Maybe you want to change all of them to be something different. Right? So yeah, I mean, I think that will be pretty powerful. Multi-object editing is pretty cool. Yeah. So I mean, but that's still something that I have to do. I still have to. What I've got to do now, firstly, is that first I want to make it so that you can actually see the curve going through all these points. Which I'm going to actually do on the scene draw. It's not going to be a line renderer. There's like a scene function called Bezier, which actually draws a Bezier for you, which looks really cool. It's just a really cool anti-alias curved line that will show you what it would look like. What else? Then I got to do the chain thing, and the way I'm going to do that was with prefabs. So the chain itself is going to not just have a path object, you're also going to have a folder over here where you point where you want all of your potential slabs to be, and they're all going to be prefabs of a certain type. Prefabs with they're probably going to need a chain, like a slab. They're going to need a slab script attached to all of them. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call this chain, and then I'm also going to have a slab script, and then each prefab is going to have a slab script attached to it, and that's how the chain will know that this is something that this is someone that I can actually chain together. But yeah, and then have buttons for it, and then once we get to that point, then we can talk about, well, I don't know. I feel like I feel very self-conscious. Like I feel like I don't know, like I've just dived in. Like I just dove in without really, I don't know. I don't know. I hope you think that this is useful. Like you know, it's kind of messing with me. Like how much work this is all going to be, and how difficult this really is. I mean, it's a lot of fun just going to a coffee shop and just drawing out some cool ideas, but actually making it happen is a completely other story. And I think I need to. I mean, this is, it's yeah. It's been hard for me to realize. It's hard for me to. Um, I just need to button down if I can do some work. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. Um, yeah, so sorry that it's still not finished. I'm showing you, but I'm just, I don't know. You know, I guess talking it through like this helps me. And I hope that it helps you kind of understand what's going on. What the fuck? That's weird. Look, when I delete it, I can still, now I can select the points. That's weird. Let's figure that out. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to commit this. There's something else I want to talk about just quickly. If I go to, what's it called? Bitbucket. You know, the one problem that I have with the is with the repository. The fucking repository is too fucking big, dude. You know, it's like 180 megs, and we've only, you know, I don't understand. Like, you know, we've got all this stuff in there from like forever ago. You know, and then it turned out that most of it was inside this builds folder, right? So, you know, and this was all this Mac stuff. I'm assuming it, you know, that came from one of your commits. I'm not actually sure, but I don't know. You know, I'm a little bit anal about that. I really hate the fact that every time I want to pull this down, I have to sit there and wait on my crappy, you know, cell phone connection to, you know, get all of this crap that we're never going to use. You know, so I looked online on how to like delete, um, how to delete stuff from a repository. You know, and if you delete something, you know, every repository stores every single thing that you've ever done, right? So, you know, if you delete something from the repository, it's just deleting it from the latest commit, but the files are still there. You know, so fuck, I hate this fucking. Where are my bookmarks? Um, Unity. Here we go. So this dude shows how to do it permanently. It's with one of these functions, right? And what it does, it literally goes to every single commit and like edits it, and it removes certain files from it, you know, so the files are permanently gone. So that's what I did, and I kind of fucked up like our history. Like if you actually, it doesn't look too bad. Here, okay, yeah, Carl Penzon stripped blah 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 from Red Meat Games, and then it says here, fuck, it looks like you actually added it on purpose. Builds added. What the fuck? Okay, now I'm confused. I don't even remember you. I don't know if what the fuck. It says here that you put track slab and death taxi prototype.unity. I don't even understand. Oh my god. So you. Oh my god. So I just deleted something that you put in there specifically. Oh my god, Ed. I'm sorry. Oh. Um. Fuck. Okay. I didn't even see. I thought it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. So you actually did a commit. No, fuck. You did this commit on the 13th of June. Okay. Okay. It's weird. Don't even remember you doing this. So yeah, sorry dude, I thought you put the builds folder in by mistake. I didn't actually see this commit, like that you actually had done it on purpose. But I've stripped it all out. You know, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that. Like, I'm just pretty anal about everything being clean. You know. Yeah, I feel like I'm rambling on now. Okay, well, let me know if you want to put the build stuff back in. I don't know. I would prefer to not commit it to the repository. You know, that shit's so fucking huge. Yeah, and plus we're pretty far away from actually needing to test anything. Like, yeah. Anyway, I'll keep you up to date. Yeah. I'll check in once I've gotten all of our previous functionality implemented. You know, the actual tracks being generated. Okay, cheers.